So Warren Buffett says this about gold. Gold gets dug out of the ground in Africa or someplace. Then we melt it down, dig another hole, bury it again, and pay people to stand around guarding it. It has no utility. Anyone watching from Mars would be scratching their head. Okay, so this has nothing to do with the reason why I don't particularly buy gold anymore. But why should we care about what Warren Buffett says? Well, if you want to be good at investing, maybe you should look to people who have come before you and have actually had decades worth of success. I would have to live my life 2 to 3 times to reach his investing career time-wise, let alone return-wise. And so why have I stopped buying gold? Well, I started out buying gold and silver coins. In fact, let me grab you a silver coin here. All right, this one is a Royal Canadian Mint coin, and it's absolutely gorgeous. So I started out buying things like this back in 2010, 2011. And the reasoning was quite clear. I learned about the economic system, where money came from, how the Fed printed their billions and trillions, definitely trillions now, and how money and silver was supposed to protect us from, say, the inflation of the money supply. Sometimes that actually, shows up in the inflation of the price of things, and sometimes it doesn't quite go that way. Sometimes the inflation goes to assets, sometimes it goes to food and energy. But regardless, I bought into that theme, that thesis, several years ago, and I started buying silver coins and gold coins. Why don't I buy gold anymore? Well, it's quite simple. The reason why Warren Buffett absolutely hates gold is because when he is looking to park his cash, he wants to put it in a place where it will yield him something, and that yield needs to be worth the risk. That's it. That's all he's doing, which is really not that easy. Trust me. It's what I do. I invest too. And so when you take, say, $100,000, you have to ask yourself, okay, where am I going to employ this cash in order to minimize my risk while maximizing my potential returns? And truth be told, gold isn't a company that will yield you anything. But over time, what gold has proven to be throughout time, space, history, different cultures and countries, is that gold is money. Gold is money in the sense that it has all, and I repeat, all of the characteristics that you need in order to have money. If you have the dollar as money, then there's an issue. The issue is issuing. It's the fact that the Fed can just issue more, therefore devaluing the value of the previously issued dollar bills. Gold can't be printed. In fact, for gold to be mined, it takes a lot of money. It takes a lot of effort. It takes a lot of knowledge. It takes a lot of time. And because of the time constraint and energy that it takes, you end up having a little bit of incremental gold yearly throughout the world. And yes, we do dig it out of the ground and put it back into a different hole, but it's just maintained most usually. And then what happens is I have come to the realization that even though there was a lot of potential in the price of gold going up and the price of silver definitely going up, I still think the price of silver will have its heyday. I came to the realization that I was young enough that I wanted to take more risk with my cash, with my earnings, with the profit that I had from my business. And so I stopped buying gold, I stopped buying silver, and decided instead to go into mining stocks. Now, that is not the only thing I invest in. I do also invest in tech. And when I say invest in tech, I have invested in tech before. I'm not actively looking for, tech investments right now. I have, invested in a little bit of real estate here and there, and it has panned out beautifully on, this thought of I need to put my money into something that will give me a greater reward. Now, don't get me wrong. When you buy into mining stocks, you're not usually, at least in the junior mining stocks, the smaller mining stocks, you're not looking for yield because there's a small mine that produces so much gold that they're making a massive profit. That's usually not the game. Sometimes what you're making is a bet on the fact that gold is out of favor because it doesn't produce a yield. Sometimes you're making a bet that the company is going to find more gold or find some gold if they haven't found much of anything yet, and that they're going to bring something into production that wasn't there before. So that leverage that you have from the gold they have in the ground not being economic because it's not a large enough concentration or high enough concentration. When the price of gold goes up, maybe gold goes from 2,000 to 2,500. That's massive for gold. If you look at the macroeconomic situation, that would get people's attention. But what that would do to a little deposit in the middle of Africa that isn't economic at 2,000, but is wildly economic at 2,500, the zero to something is, doubling, tripling, quadrupling your money or more. So that is what attracted me to this space and to tech, which over the long term, I think always does better than most other things. I know this is very technological and very scientific based statement, but it's true. If you take into consideration that whenever times are good, humans tend to be overly optimistic. What they tend to do is they go out and invest in new technology. Humans are always looking for new, for breakthroughs, and they see stories of technologies that have come and changed the way they live, or stocks that have gained a lot in the last, call it 10 to 20 years. When you're an investor, you keep thinking of, I missed out, and FOMO does build up. And so the reason for investing in technology, in my view, is to look forward and to not miss the next trend that is forming right now. And believe it or not, there's always a trend forming. So keep your eyes open. Keep your eyes open to the opportunity in mining stocks as well. And I maintain my silver coins. I'm not getting rid of them. They're pretty, shiny. And I have a bunch of them in different countries. But I don't buy more currently because I have figured out I can make a better return without actually having to physically handle the coins, which at some point it becomes too much, right? If you physically hold them, unless you want to do some midnight gardening, which I don't recommend. And instead, I'm looking at what companies are related to them so that when the price, sparks up, or when the world just simply realizes that central banks all around the world are buying it at record levels, they're piling up and they're not selling, that something's up with the economic system that we live in nowadays. And maybe gold is money after all. Hey, I'm not saying that Bitcoin isn't, but gold definitely has been. Gold doesn't need to prove itself as money. Gold is money. It is believed that an ounce of gold would buy, a good quality handmade suit for a man, 3-piece suit. I can't tell you what that costs because honestly, I'm not into buying that kind of thing, being a woman and everything. But I do believe that gold maintains its value one way or another. It's humans that keep expanding and sometimes accidentally contracting, the dollar bills around it, the euro bills around it, the you name it bills around it. So whether gold maintains this level that it's at or whether it takes off completely, I'm holding on to my silver coins. I'm holding on to the little bit of gold that I have. And I'm waiting to see because it's more like insurance. If it gets to crazy levels, if we do all of a sudden get a re-rate because the money is re-rating, actually the currencies are re-rating to the real money, which is gold, then I want to have enough. But at some point, you have to ask yourself, all those people selling you the buy gold, buy silver, sometimes they make money when they get you to buy into their story. I don't want that. I want to be making money when they're proven right. And if they're selling you the gold and the silver, they're making money off your belief. They're not making money off the story panning out and their thesis panning out. So do bear that in mind, that in order for you to make a gain, you're eventually going to have to sell it because we live in a world where currency is king, but money withstands the ups and downs of currency fluctuations. So gold is money, Silver is close to it, but not quite. It is more industrial in its use case, but I'm just not selling it. I'm holding on to it, and that's it. Real investing to me is other stuff. Let's keep it gold as money and take a look at gold miners, because I think, at least when I'm recording this, there's still good value out there. And if you're looking for a gold company that's probably on the cusp of making a really, really, really interesting ultra high grade discovery, I would look into this one. I think they're onto something.